Joining us once again, Jamin's Daily. Today we have an amazing guest. His name is Ruben Bonilla, a longtime friend of mine and a friend of the show, Jamin's Daily, a friend of Jamin, me, for many years now. So why don't we all, folks at home, give a nice welcome to our guest, Mr. Ruben Bonilla. How are you doing, my friend?
Doing good. It's Friday, so weekend's just about here.
You just finished up a late lunch at P.F. Chang's, is that right?
Yeah.
What did you eat?
Had the Chang spicy chicken.
Spicy?
It's the only way to go.
Spicy chicken. I haven't been to P.F. Chang's in a while. I have actually had Hunan Express probably 3 or 4 times since the last time I've been to P.F. Chang's. But they're both pretty good. I think P.F. Chang's is better.
It's a tad.
Right?
Tad bit.
Ruben, you told me I'm running. You didn't tell me you're running late. You're like, I'll be in a little bit. I had a late lunch. I'm at P.F. Chang's. And I'm thinking, I made a sandwich for lunch. This guy.
It's Friday. You got to splurge a little.
You got to splurge.
After a long work week.
That's right. That's how you do it.
Treat yourself.
When you're the boss, and when you're the boss, that's what you do. That's what bosses do. So, Ruben, I want to tell you and the folks at home that you're probably, since I've lived in Corpus Christi, one of my oldest, not like because you're old, because we're not, we're young, but my longest friends that I've known, because, you know, we moved, me and my parents, or me and my family, we moved around because my dad was a coach. So I came to Ray at the end of my freshman year, and I didn't know anybody, but I kind of knew you and Bill slightly, and so we kind of became friends, or at least I tagged along with you and your buddy,
Yeah.
Manuel and some of the other crew. That was 1999.
Oh, man.
1999, Ruben.
20 years ago.
Over 20 years ago.
The easy days, had no worries back then. Just showing up to school and passing your classes.
Right? And trying to keep all, your biggest problem probably, Ruben, was, keeping all the women away. The young girls, they all wanted a piece. They all wanted a piece, and it's kind of hard. You don't want to break any hearts, because I know, Ruben, you have a big heart.
Oh,
so
yeah.
So you got to let the girls down.
What's different now?
Is it different? It's different. Oh, what? I'm sure. The ladies in your life will say,
"Oh, yeah.
He's so sweet."
That's what they say. Yeah.
That's what they say. Well, that's what they were saying in 1999, and now we're in 2020. Those are two like pivotal. Is that the word? Pivotal. I can't even say it. Those are the two like space age years. 1999 and then 2020. Don't you think?
Yeah, what was the whole 2000 thing?
Y2K?
Yeah. When everybody's internet and electricity was going to turn off, supposedly. Never happened.
Didn't happen. And now, 2020, and Ruben, you own a farmer's agency, right?
Yeah, a farmer's insurance agency. I've opened it in 2007, so I've been in business for 13 years now.
And, I want everybody to know at home that's an amazing accomplishment, because maybe you know better than I, Ruben, what is the average agent who opens up their agency, probably they're lucky if they make the 5-year mark. I bet more than half don't even make it 5 years. Yeah,
the first 5 years are pretty tough, especially starting from scratch agent, no policies. You got to find out what works for you and learn the hard way sometimes.
Well, that's the best way to learn in business and in almost any job is you learn on the job.
Yeah.
Is that how you would you say that's how you kind of learned your agency?
Oh, yeah. Just learn as you go and find out what works, keep up with it, and, just got to, especially in insurance, you got to keep your clients happy all times.
There's been a lot of changes, too, since you started in 2007 to now 2020. I'm sure different quoting system, they update here, they update there.
Oh, yeah. And now it's so much quicker to do quotes, a lot more streamlined, getting people information they need quicker before you have to fill out a whole brochure, pretty much pamphlet of your whole life information to get a quote for simple car insurance.
When I started with Allstate, they were still using some kind of like MS DOS, like 1980s green and black screen entry stuff. This was in 2008. So again, they've moved past that, but some of these companies drag their feet when it comes to that.
Oh yeah, it's amazing how far they've come in 10 years. Thankfully, makes our job a little easier.
I agree. And we're trying to get into some the automation, but before we get too much into business, into the weeds of business, Ruben over here with the masters and business. Weren't you working on your the what do you call it? Your business. Your MBA, that's what it's called, an MBA. Did I put you on the spot there? Did you end up getting your MBA, or you didn't?
You did put me on the spot. I did not get my MBA.
You don't need it. That's a waste of time. You don't need it, man. You already.
I figured it's good if you're working your way up in a corporate or large business, I think. But when you're self-employed, you can't really give yourself a raise for getting another degree or getting a graduate degree. Yeah,
or it doesn't really help your resume when you're already the boss. Am I right?
Exactly.
I mean, so who's going to give you, unless you wanted to do something else.
It doesn't impress anyone.
But I'll tell you this, Ruben, is that you already have an MBA. I feel like I have an MBA, having run an agency, worked in insurance, and running this agency for 5 years. You running your agency successfully for 13 years. You basically have an MBA without a piece of paper.
Oh, yeah. You got to learn everything on your own, kind of learn everything from marketing to advertising to staffing to...
payroll, you got to work, you got customer service.
Taxes,
bunch of admins, administrative tasks that you got to do on top of, like you said, then you have to wear all the hats.
Oh, yeah.
All the hats. Well, you've been doing a good job of it. I wanted to get to... Let's segue into when we were younger. I was talking to your younger brother Bill, and he brought up a moment or a moment in time. Do you recall making I'm sure, as all brothers, so Bill's your younger brother, right? I had an older brother, and he used to pick on me, right? He used to pick on me like probably most older brothers do to their younger brothers.
Yeah, that's what we're supposed to do.
Right. And
toughen you up.
And he said, Bill told me something about a cockroach, and that you either put it on him or you did something with a roach, and it made him cry. Do you remember? He obviously is scarred by this.
Yeah, very traumatized.
He's traumatized because he brought it up. That was like one of the things. I was like, hey, Bill, Ruben's going to come on the show, and I need some material, something funny or this or that. And he's like, tell him about the time that he put a roach on me and he made me cry.
I don't have to. I don't remember how that went. I'm gonna have to ask him after this.
Yeah, name another funny story, because I'm sure the reason why you can't remember is because there's so many times that you probably did something like that.
Bill was a little softy back then. I just remember him crying a lot. So I remember even just me and my older sister would tell him, "You cry way too much. I think you cry every day," and that would make him cry on the spot. So
if you told him that he's a crybaby, he would then cry.
If he skipped a day, we'd make him cry just by telling him that.
Oh, yes.
And I remember doing that back in elementary school with him. I don't know if it still works, but
we're gonna have to try it out. I was the baby also. So my brother, I have an older brother, and then my oldest sister, and they used to always make me cry, and it was always worse during the summer because my parents would be at work and we'd be home. So my sister would be like 16 and my brother would be 12, and then here I am like 8 years old, and they used to torment me all the time. But like you said, I think it toughened me up.
Yeah, you just gotta show them the way and go pick it on them. You can't let them beat you at anything. It's just part of growing up with an older sibling, I guess.
I think my sister said one time I pulled a knife on her or something like that because she was so bad. But I was a little kid. What am I supposed to do? And I called my mom. They're picking on me. They're doing it. And she never helped. What's she going to do? Leave work and come spank them?
Yeah, I don't think my brother ever pulled a knife on me, but I'm sure we did get into wrestling matches.
I think it was a butter knife, folks. It was a butter knife. Okay, a plastic butter knife is what I
toy knife. But yeah, we'd play football outside, play basketball, and I would never let him win, even if I wanted to let up on him.
You'd let him think he was going to win, and then you'd pull it out at the very end, right?
Yeah, get his hopes up.
There was this time, me and my brother, very same, we'd throw passes in the front. And one time he threw a pass, and he kind of led me, and I had been in the grass. But when I dove, I kind of dove in a little bit into the sidewalk, and boom, I landed on the sidewalk. And so I'm over here on the ground moaning. And I think I was already like 11 or 12. I wasn't that young. And he runs like he's concerned. He runs up to me. Oh, are you okay? Are you okay? And he runs to the ball. And he grabs the ball, pretends like he's concerned about the ball.
Can't let the ball go in the street.
You know what? But he did it just to be mean. You know, just to be that way because he's an older brother.
Yeah, you gotta. There's a thin line between taking care of your little brother and then also picking on him, and so love-hate relationship a little bit.
Love-hate. I'm sure. I bet Bill would say if he was here, he would not be mad. He's not mad about you. He's not mad about it. Right?
Yeah, of course
he's not mad about it. He's happy that you made him cry.
He's a better person for it.
Let's fast forward. So that was when we were younger. When we were a little older, do you remember? I'm going to tell the story. We went to a party, and this is when we were in high school, and you were driving, or we were in, I don't know who was driving, to be honest, can't remember much, but it was that maroon Chevy that y'all had in high school.
Oh, yeah.
There was a maroon Chevy pickup.
Truck, yeah.
Okay. And we go to this party, we're there, we're driving back. I don't even think I think I'm 16 years old because I think I'm a sophomore and you're a senior.
I think I know where you're going with this.
And
I remember this.
We're with Bill, and I think Eddie Zapata was with us. And somebody else. But, so we're coming back, and we're coming over the Harbor Bridge.
Yes, I remember that.
And I don't remember if it's on the bridge or maybe it's a little after.
We were coming from a party in Portland, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do you remember? Tell the people at home what happened.
I just remember you rolled down the window, and I think you were in the front seat because I feel like I have this image in my head. You threw up out the window, and it just splattered all over the back of the window.
It didn't go out. It did not go out the window like I was hoping. Because when I throw up, it's like bleh, it like just shoots. I have like projectile throw up whenever I throw up.
Man, I forgot about that. That's a good memory. I don't know what we were doing in Portland in high school. I don't know.
Well, dude, that was back in the day when parents didn't care. They just let you. They didn't know where we were.
Yeah.
Guarantee you, your mom did not know we were in Portland.
Yeah.
Okay.
No cell phone.
Could not find out
phone.
Where they were. They had no idea where we were. We were coming back. I'm hammered. I'm throwing up in your car, and then we get to my house. This was during this, I think the winter break, because I remember going to a basketball game soon after. So this was like in January, okay, maybe soon after New Year's or something, or maybe right after Christmas. And so we pull up to my house, and then y'all just like kick me out, man. I go up to the door, and y'all waited maybe 10 seconds.
Hey,
you waited, but y'all did not. Somebody could have walked me to the door and knocked on it, but everybody was probably tripping out and scared because.
Hey, your dad was a coach and he knew our parents.
Like, dude, if we take them in, they're gonna be like, "Have y'all been drinking?"
Yeah, it's all, every man for themselves at that point in high school. You gotta go home safe and sound, so you're innocent.
They answer. I remember when I want to say I knocked on the door and it was locked, and from between the time they came and opened the door, by the time they came and opened the door, I was still like, dry heaving when they came and answered the door. Opened it. They're like, Jamin,
our job was done getting you home.
What's the matter with you? And then they asked, well, who dropped you off? Who are you with? And I didn't name a single name. It's like, I don't know. I can't remember. I think I ate some bad sushi.
Yeah. As long as you don't snitch, can't do that.
You know what's the funny thing about this too is, so it threw up in your car. Obviously, your mom found out about it. I'm sure because
Yeah, I'm sure. Bill told her.
Yeah, I'm sure Bill told her. But the cool thing about your mom was she never rubbed it in. You know, because like when I got there the next time to hang out, she was like, she kind of had her own way of like.
Yeah,
bringing it up, but not in a way to make me feel bad.
I could see her doing that. She probably just made a quick comment when you get there, and then that would be the end of it.
Yeah, she would, and she was always very nice to me all the time. I always have a very special place. I hold your mother in high esteem. She was always very nice to me, and that's one example because she could have said something, but she didn't. Very nice. One last thing before we're gonna take our first break, folks. But before that, did you know Bill bought a pistol recently?
What? I did not know that.
He's officially a gun owner.
Man.
I think it's when he started becoming a judge.
Yeah.
I think he's afraid someone's going to get super mad about the speeding ticket that he upheld or maybe
find out where he lives.
Yeah, that people might be salty about what kind of cases is he overseeing right now? They're all municipal stuff.
I think small, DWIs and just DUIs, little things like that.
Well, I think he's getting prepared for when he has these huge cases. You never know.
Got to deal with these disorderly.
The crazies, they're out there.
People.
Look, they were going to kidnap the governor of Michigan apparently, right? So you never know.
How do you get arrested for not going through with it, though? Just talking about it?
I guess. They could have been like, listen, we're LARPing. This is live action role playing. All right? We're just pretending that we were going to do this. This is like Dungeons and Dragons.
This is our fantasy league.
Right? I don't know. Those people are dumb. Why? If you're going to try to do something like that, which you shouldn't, and I don't advocate anything like that, okay? But you shouldn't plan it out like so extensively and like that long. It's just got to be like, hey guys, let's go kidnap somebody, and then you just go and do it. Because if not, the FBI will get on. We'll find out.
Can't have meetings at the local Chili's.
Yeah, you can't be plotting your kidnapping over Wi-Fi, okay, guys, on WhatsApp. I don't think that's going to work.
Facebook Messenger.
But anyways, so Bill's like, hey, Jamin, I'm going to buy a gun, and what do you recommend? So I give him some recommendations. And then, because I'm a good friend, I said, listen, let's go somewhere. Let's go this is where we should go. And you'll find a pistol there, and you can buy one. Which he did. He ended up buying a Glock. I can't remember what model. I think a 17 9mm.
Special color?
Nah, just straight up black. He was gonna buy the pink, but they were out of stock.
I could see him buying a camouflage one or Green Bay Packer, green and yellow.
You can get them what they call Cerakoted, so you can get like a custom colored one. You send it somewhere and they'll do that. You should do that for his birthday.
Yeah, get one that's all blinged out.
There's all kinds of, nowadays the aftermarket for firearms is a big market.
It's like an iPhone case.
It's like an iPhone, yeah, pretty much. But guys, we're gonna take our first break. But when we get back, we're gonna get into some sports. Ruben Bonilla, if you didn't know, was a sportsman himself in the day. Still is. He's pretty buff. Yeah. You can't see in the video because it's only showing the top half. But he might be able to, if he wanted to, he could really stunt on everybody and start flexing. But when we get back, we'll get into some sports. Till then, stick with us. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back, folks, to Jamin's Daily. We're back from the break. We're with our guest, Ruben Bonilla, farmer's agent, varsity football player. We're going to go back into the day, relive some glory days, Ruben. Can you recall? Yes. So you used to play sports, right? You play foosball back in the day?
Foosball.
You played some foosball back in the day?
Ran some track. A little bit of basketball.
You did it all around. Yeah. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
Nothing else to do back then. No social media and internet to mess around on Netflix all day.
Yeah, so we actually had to do things for fun, and you were a good athlete. And that's how we kind of know each other, is from athletics. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
We were in athletics
that's
together.
How we met each other.
Okay. My dad was a coach. So when I came in, folks, I was a sophomore. Actually, I was a freshman, going to be a sophomore. So I was going to be on varsity. Ruben was a junior. You were going to be a senior. Already like a team captain. Okay, folks? So, but like they say, game recognized game. So right away I was like, all right, Ruben's a badass. So he's a little, he's gonna carry the ball. He's gonna score some touchdowns. But in time, really the next year, once you left, it was, my junior year. I came in and kind of try to fill the shoes, as they say.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, I think you did a decent job filling the shoes.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it, Ruben. Some big shoes to fill. But let's get into some college football. So you are a Longhorn, is this right? You went to UT.
UT grad 2005.
2005.
Back in the glory days.
And for a while there, during that time, that was the glory days. 2005, 6. That's when they won it, right? And then a couple years before that, they won like 10 games a year for like 10 years.
That was the good old days. They were preseason ranked in the top 5 every year, pretty much on my whole college career. And of course, they won the national championship 2006, 2007.
It was 2006. I remember it was 2000 in 2006, like January 2006.
Yeah.
2005 season, 2006.
Right. Yeah, it was a year after I graduated. So. Yeah, it was good times back then.
But now, the reason why we're bringing this up, because now, because I went to A&M, and so A&M struggled continuously. Other than when Johnny Manziel was there, we were fun to watch. But they continue to struggle. They hire. A&M does not lack for money. They're one of the richest schools in the nation. Okay, they're right up there with UT in terms of money. They have plenty of money. They gave Jimbo Fisher $75 million contract. Okay, at the time I think was the highest contract a couple years ago. And he's falling short. And so is Tom Herman in terms of expectations, the head coach at UT, having lost last week. And going into the Red River shootout, I bet you they're probably underdogs going into that game.
They are underdogs by, I believe, about 4 points.
4 points?
Which is, I'll take it. I'll take whatever we could get.
That's not a bad bet, but for this game tomorrow, you throw out, other than betting, but it's hard to know who's going to show up, how they're going to play.
Rivalry games, they could go anyway. But this year is kind of interesting with both teams struggling. Both teams kind of stinking it up. So
I read where this was the first time in decades that both teams had lost the game. Both teams had lost the game before. Both teams are going into the Red River shootout with a loss.
Hell yeah!
First time in a long, long time.
And then Oklahoma has 2 losses in a row. So who knows the last time that happened?
They're like a wounded animal right now, though. Yeah. That's how you got to look at it. They're hungry. They cannot lose 3 in a row.
That's the only thing that makes UT season any better right now, that they've lost 2 and we've lost only 1 game so far. But
you're still in the hunt for it. You can still win the conference.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early on in the season. It's kind of been a weird preseason for everybody. So, but we had a lot of hype going into this season, just like every year the last 10 years, I think. And we keep on. I mean, when we fall short, we don't even get 3 games into the season until we
next year. Until you're like, oh, next year. You're 3 games in, and then next year.
Well, that was a good start to the year, but at least we started 2-0 this year. Last few years, I think we've been 1-1.
They lost to Maryland a couple of years.
2 years in a row, opening game. But yeah, it's just been very frustrating. We get, especially with Tom Herman being in his 4th year, I think. He finally has his recruits there. Yeah, top recruits.
His system. He was supposed to be a big system, the process kind of guy, where everything, what I heard from their practices, from what they ate, everything was meticulously planned. They knew exactly what drill they were going to be doing. He could look at his deal and say, okay, on a Wednesday at 3:15, this is what they're doing, right? He was like an exec CEO type coach. Yeah, he had everything run a tight ship. Do you recall he set it up to where in the players in the cafeteria for the athletes that if they weren't if they weren't hitting a certain type of grade for either their practice, game film, or something, they would get like peanut butter and jelly, like some random baked chicken. And for the guys who were the competition, so he was trying to turn it into a competition. The guys who were excelling were getting lobster and steak and stuff like that.
Well, after the way they played last 2 weeks, they need all eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches.
They're all eating peanut butter. I'm sure after a loss, that's right. Because one of they kept on trying to say how the players at UT were getting, especially when Mac was there, they were spoiled and they felt entitled. Like, just because just playing at UT was enough.
Yeah,
and they're
and for a while it was. I mean, you'd get recruited there and you'd be already top 5 team, but I guess towards the end of Mac Brown's career at UT, it did get a little out of hand with the players getting a little spoiled.
And then Charlie Strong didn't do any better.
Yeah, those are some rough years, even rougher than we are in now. Then we missed a bowl game for the first time in I don't know, who knows, and then we lose to Kansas, which is like the worst. That's the worst. That's pretty much what got him fired from UT.
Well, the thing, Mac has had a career resurgence there at North Carolina. He has them real competitive. They won more games. They're on a little bit of a uptick in terms of just their program.
Yeah,
got a little momentum.
He's a great recruiter. I mean, he gets. I don't know how he does it. Just being, especially at his age now, he's older.
It's the Southern, isn't it supposed to? He has like Bobby Bowden, the Southern charm.
He's got that Southern twang.
He gets
voice.
into, because it's really not where the players want to go. It's where their mom tells them they're gonna go. So he goes into the living room and he talks to the mom, and he tells her, your boy's gonna be in good hands. This and that, and he lays it on thick. And they say, no, I like Coach Brown. You should go to UT.
Yeah. I guess being at UT then, I mean, with all the facilities they have, I mean, it's hard to turn away from that. But if you don't win,
but that's the I used to think, okay, facilities are great. That's how you get the kids in. But a good program isn't whether or not you have the best spa for your athletes. Okay, because A&M has that. UT has that. Okay, they have the best of the best. I guarantee you. So I bet you UT and A&M and some of these other places like OU, their facilities are on par with NFL teams, if not better, because they spend. They were showing the operating budgets for UT and A&M. They spend, because it's not like for profit. All the money that they make, they have to spend. Mm-hmm. Because they can't pay profits. There's no shareholders where there's profits to be given up to dividends to be paid. So they just, the more money that the program brings in, the more money they spend on coaches' salaries and then facilities and goodies for the players.
Yeah.
So they have probably more. Some of the facilities are just as good or better than NFL teams.
Oh yeah, it looks like every year they upgrade something, or colleges are always outdoing each other in the locker room, or what a locker has now. They call it
an arms race. It's a recruiting arms race. They're all tripping over themselves to have the best locker room. So now the guys' locker rooms have TVs that hook up to their Wi-Fi and stuff built into their locker, or it's outrageous.
I think LSU has a reclining locker chair or something. And then Clemson has that slide in their facility from the second floor to the first floor. It's just insane what these kids have. Which, I mean, they deserve it. I mean, they're
bringing in
athletes in the.
Yeah, they're bringing in a lot of money. People always complain that they should pay the players, but if they paid the players, they wouldn't have as nice facilities, because a lot of that, as a business owner. Yeah. Let me ask you this: your biggest expense is what? Payroll, and staff, and then on top of that, you pay taxes. Yeah. Right, you pay payroll taxes on top of that. So that's a lot of money. So now if these, even places like Clemson, places like UT, that's a lot of money now that they have to spend, that they don't have to spend on the slides and the nice facilities and all the other goodies that the players are used to having. Mm-hmm. They're going to say, no, now we're just going to get by with what we need, because now this is like a business and y'all are employees.
Yeah.
Okay, so we don't need to bribe you with all these cool facilities. Now you're just getting paid. Okay, so now it's a real simple deal. All right, I'm going to pay you and you come to work, or you don't.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
it's
not the best. It's not the best deal for all these players. Maybe for like 10 guys.
Yeah, I think that's where it gets kind of tricky. Like, how are you going to pay the first string quarterback and then a walk-on quarterback that doesn't even play one snap of the season?
No, they don't get paid. They don't get paid. And all these other smaller schools, they lose money. Yeah. Most programs don't make money. Yeah. Okay, they're losing money. And so I don't know how but that's on the way. You know, in California, they passed a law that doesn't take effect until I think 2022. But it's going to force the NCAA, because in California law is going to state that the players will have rights to their like their name and stuff. So if you're UCLA and you sell a jersey that has my name on it, you have to pay me. You can't just keep all the money anymore. You know, my scholarship isn't payment for my name being on a jersey that you're selling for $100.
Yeah.
All right. So they're gonna they're giving them 2 years to figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I could see that being fair. I mean, I don't disagree with that.
No, that is fine. The players should be able to make money. They should even be able to do their endorsement deals while they're still in school and do that kind of stuff. But straight up getting a check from the athletic department is another story.
Yeah.
I don't think that's...
Yeah, I mean, they're getting a free education where other kids, they have to, study for that or have their parents pay for it or get student loans, which are paying the rest of their lives.
Sure.
UT's like, $40,000 a year or something?
Oh, yeah. And so in some of these places like USC or Miami, these are private schools. Those places, it would cost people $20,000, $30,000 a year at those schools or more. So they're definitely getting compensated. We can go on for 3 hours talking about that. Yeah. What about the stinking Cowboys? Talk about another disappointment right now. So the UT, A&M, the Texans are terrible. Cowboys are terrible. Like every football team in the state of Texas right now kind of sucks.
Yeah. I think the Cowboys are just in the same boat. They're another year with talking about, which I still don't understand. Like every year people are like, oh, it's Cowboys have a team that's going to make it to the Super Bowl, but the year before they don't even make the playoffs. But
so
how
they gotta go? Every
year.
It should be like baby steps, right? It's like, hey, how about let's just make the playoffs or let's win a playoff game?
Okay, we got a new coach. Now it's time for the Super Bowl. Okay, the coach is in the second year. The players know him better. Now it's Super Bowl this year. Which I'm like, oh, they still got the Saints. They got Tom Brady now at the Bucks. They got
every game Packers. Has been a difficult game. We played the Rams. We played the Seahawks. The Browns last week should have been a guaranteed win. Like if you're making the schedule and you're putting W's and L's on the schedule, that's a W.
Yeah.
So when you're losing games in which you penciled in a W, things are not going right.
Yeah, it's just one thing after another that goes wrong. And then you get down 20 points every game. It's gonna be hard to come back every game and win.
I feel like when I'm watching the Cowboys, they're never consistent. You never know if they're going to play good or if the offense is going to play good or the defense. There's no consistency anywhere.
Yeah.
Because like this past game against the Bengals, defense played like crap, giving up a lot of points. Then finally the offense comes back or they make a comeback, but they should have never been in that position. I don't know if there were a lot of turnovers, hardly any yards in the running game. Zeke was not effective because they're way behind, so they're having to throw the ball. Dak, who's I think has played better this year, but he still isn't worth $40 million a year. Yeah. But he's played a little better, but he's still not at his best when he's just dropping back, throwing 50 passes a game.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want that.
Yeah, I don't think he's a top tier quarterback at the moment. I mean, his stats might say he is, but I mean, he's not up there with like Russell Wilson and Mahomes.
Not at all. I was telling some friends of mine, my buddies, Bill's our chat group. I was telling them, I said, even mediocre, below average NFL quarterbacks throw for 4,000. The stats are there for all of them pretty much because it's such a pass happy league. You can throw for 300 yards a game and only win 3 games. Okay, so you can throw for close to 5,000 yards and doesn't mean you're winning games in today's NFL. So you have average quarterbacks who have these awesome numbers, but the only number that matters for a quarterback is the win. Okay, wins and losses. That's all that matters.
The only thing going for them is their conference or their division's just the worst division in football. Or what, 1-4, and they're still tied for first place.
And we still can't get, and we still haven't. They should have won. Imagine being a Patriots fan where you winning the division is like a given. Right? Yeah. They've won it like 18 out of the last 20 years or something crazy like that. Okay. That's not even fair as a fan. You're not even a fan at that point. You're on the bandwagon because being a real fan is having to suffer. If you're not suffering through your team's mediocrity, then you're not a fan.
Yeah, I mean, just being a Cowboys fan is very frustrating and stressful. Sometimes I don't even want to watch the games.
Are you going? Are you, because of Corona? Have you been to, or are you going to attend any games?
Not this year. Just going to kind of play it safe and stay home and watch it, especially
if you were single and didn't have a young baby at home. Would you consider it then?
Maybe later on in the season. I would just have to see how they're doing first.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, there's not much to go watch.
No reason to go?
I mean, watching them.
Well, because you and Bill, y'all go to more live sporting events than I do, okay? Y'all go to games every year. So, but not this year, you're saying?
Yeah, not this year, I guess, with everything happening in the world. And
well, do you have tickets? Do you have season tickets? Y'all didn't get the tickets then either?
We opted out this year.
Oh, right. I was gonna say because maybe I could go for you.
I told myself if UT made it to the Big 12 game, I would get tickets. But at this point of the season, only 3 weeks in, it doesn't even look like that's gonna happen.
They lost to
TCU.
If they lose to OU after that, then it's gonna be.
It's pretty much
probably not
small chance of happening.
Yeah, because you're gonna have to wait. You're gonna have to hope
everybody beat each other.
Everybody beats each other, and then somebody takes a double loss, and yeah.
Well, and then Baylor, I don't even know what's happening with them because they've had a few cases on the team, so I don't think they've even played one game.
No, Baylor lost to West Virginia last week.
Oh, so okay.
They played one game, I think. They lost to West Virginia in overtime. So, but those aren't, when you look at Texas and how they're playing, and who knows, maybe they'll surprise us tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. You never know.
But games that used to be back in the day, the Baylor was a sure win.
Yeah.
Playing Baylor this year is not a sure win. When I look at A&M's schedule, and we play arguably in the toughest division in college football, our non-division game this year, we're playing Florida tomorrow. Okay. Okay, we're playing Florida. Those are they're not even our division. We still have to play Auburn, Alabama, both Mississippi, Ole Miss, Arkansas, LSU. Okay, that's the division we're in. I the other day I came to a realization. I was like, I feel like a Cubs fan or like a Red Sox fan back in the day. It's like I may live and die and never see. Forget about a national championship. I may never see them even win the conference.
Yeah.
With the people they have to beat. Okay,
it's going to be a while. I think that's a Alabama LSU division there. Although LSU's having it down here somewhat, but then
you have to worry about, because then sometimes Auburn will come up and Auburn will be real tough years in and years out. They'll win 11 games.
Yeah, they got great team and great recruits.
Yeah, they got great recruits, good team, and then we've just been lucky. Arkansas has been down. When you look at, if we're even going to be average, we have to beat Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Arkansas every year. And then the toss-ups are always going to be LSU, Auburn, and Alabama. Those are the tough games that you have to that you have to win 2 out of 3.
You got to play perfect every weekend almost.
I don't know. Yeah, and in the years that you beat those people, then all of a sudden Mississippi State sneaks up on you and beats you or something.
Hey, they beat LSU this year, and then they lose to Arkansas.
Yeah, I lost money on that bet because I was like, these guys play terrible.
Sure bet.
All right, we're finishing up segment 2, folks. We're gonna have one last segment after the break. Don't forget that this podcast is brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency. You can reach us at 361-400-2411. When we get back, we're going to get back into some business talk with Ruben Bonilla, our guest. We're going to talk a little bit more about insurance and about running a small business and see where it goes when we get back. Welcome back, folks, to our final segment of Jamin's Daily and our special guest, Ruben Bonilla. And we're going to kind of just close out the episode with a little bit of just some business talk, kind of going over how's COVID affected business, Ruben?
Well, thankfully, it hasn't really. I mean, early on, it did affect us somewhat. Early months, April, May, we weren't really allowing people to come into the office. Mm-hmm. More, wouldn't say virtual, but mainly phone calls or emails to us. But thankfully, our industry and insurance, which I mean, that's almost the majority of people signing up our clients is by email or phone call. It's very rare that people come into the office for insurance to get a policy, or a lot of things are DocuSign nowadays. So, but now it's pretty normal now for the most part. Yeah. I guess how we're living, but I wouldn't say it's affected us a whole lot as like
in terms of the bottom. So it's affected maybe how you do things. Yeah, you're saying, but in terms of the bottom line, it wasn't a big compared to other industries like bars, restaurants, things like that. Thankfully,
we're considered, I guess, an essential service. So, mm-hmm. I mean, insurance is always one of those things in demand. When you're buying a home, you have to have it. Mm-hmm. If you have cars, you have to have car insurance to be street legal. So luckily, we're in that profession where it's something that you have to have.
Was Farmers doing some of what the other carriers did? Did they give a discount, like a stay-at-home discount, and then they also? What else were they doing? And besides that, they were also doing payment arrangements.
Yeah. So besides the normal credits people were getting on their auto insurance since they're working from home, I think for about 3 months there, people were getting about 25% discounts on the car insurance. But besides that, they were allowing extended pay plans. They weren't canceling people if they couldn't make a payment for a few months. Businesses had also credits since, of course, they couldn't. Some restaurants and places, even like barbershops or salons, they couldn't open. Mm-hmm. So they would get credits and discounts on delayed pay plans. So they helped us out a lot, and pretty much back to normal now. Of course, I think some of the people were wanting that credit year round.
I had to remind some people because Progressive did the same thing, giving these credits. And so when a customer's renewal came up and it was about the same amount, and they were talking to me about it, I said, well, listen, this is the same amount that it was last 6 months. But remember, you didn't even pay that last 6 months. Mm-hmm. You paid less than that. Just because it says there, you're getting all these credits. So you're actually way ahead. You're saving money. So you got to remind them. But same for us. I want to say early on, other than just being closed, I sent one of my producers started working from home. Yeah. And he still works from home now. We got used to that. Mm-hmm. He lives in Portland, so it saves him time and money commute. So I was like, listen, if you keep working from home, as long as you're hitting your numbers, things like that. So right. So some of these changes are actually sticking around. Yeah. And I think really in July, kind of when that surge came again, mm-hmm. is when I really think we kind of had a slower month where I started to kind of get concerned. But I was able to qualify and got some PPP money.
Oh yeah.
Were you able to? Was that something that you looked into, or did you take advantage? Were you able to get to PPP?
Yeah, we did that. My local bank here helped me out acquire that loan, which helped out a lot with payroll, rent, overhead expenses.
Yeah, the way I just submitted the same way my local banker helped us. Sent us the docs, what we needed. And, and we run a professional business here, Ruben, just like you do. So we had I had a CPA, I have a payroll service. So I had all my documents, I had all my ducks in a line. So when they asked for all this stuff, quickly got it to them. got approved. I wish I just asked for more money now. I was being real, conservative because I was concerned. I was like, hey, this is a loan, and I'm going to have to pay it back. And so I asked for what I needed or what I felt like I could use, and etc. But then now knowing kind of what's coming out, could have asked for probably 2 or 3 times as much. And the thing is, I just got finished submitting the forgiveness. So there was an app for the forgiveness. So that I may not even have to pay some of that money back. Which would be nice. Did you do the app? Did you do the forgiveness app?
We haven't gotten to that point yet, but hopefully, I know it's coming here soon. I know they're still working on some things, what gets passed, and I know it's a lot of legislative stuff.
Oh, you mean like with Congress? Yeah, that's not going to happen until, my prediction is after the election. We're not going to see any of the stimulus or, more money, and then part of that, I think, would be some kind of forgiveness for these PPP loans.
So we're just there's no deadline with my bank yet, but I know they're keeping an eye on it.
Well, at first I was kind of the same way because apparently I think the SBA was taking applications for the forgiveness as early as over a month ago. But when I talked to my banker, she was like, just wait because we're waiting on this legislation that's going to change why spend the time, do this, we submit it, and then legislation is passed where they forgive it anyways. So she was just advising me to hold off. But then recently, talks keep breaking down and nothing's going on, is when I was advised to just go ahead and fill it out. So I submitted it the other day, did the DocuSign. I got a notice saying it was sent to the SBA. But according to the numbers and the way you fill out the application, the full amount that I was loaned, according to if it's approved, qualifies for this forgiveness. So I got my fingers crossed on that one. Because I had 2 employees. Nobody got fired. That's what it was for.
Couldn't fire anyone.
When you look at, again, I could have asked for more because it was less than I did the 8. There's an 8 or 24 week. In the 8 week, I had to submit the payroll summary of all the payroll. Then, like you said, utilities, rent, all of that. And it added up to way more than what I even got. So I'm pretty... Got my fingers crossed. I think I might get forgiven.
I mean, it was all such a brand new thing to everyone. I think even the bankers were kind of going day to day, seeing what new things were going to come out. And so it was, at first I wasn't going to do anything. I was like, I don't want to get a loan and have to pay back interest and all this. After hearing about it, I was like, man, that's an awesome deal.
Sure. You were, the people who I talked to about that, because I was in the same boat, not just with the PPP, but then there was some SPA, this emergency disaster stuff that I qualified in a small business. And people were telling me, listen, if you were to try to get a loan with a bank, the interest would be 2-3 times as much as what this loan with the government's going to be. It's like 2.8%. Like, nobody's going to loan you money at that rate. Okay. So this is the best time to basically get, some capital, a loan, so I could grow my business. So I had to take advantage of that too. And on that one, you don't even have to pay. That one's not going to get forgiven. I doubt it. If that one does, that would be even crazy. That would be amazing. It'd be like hitting the lottery for me almost. But I don't even have to start paying that back until next year. And it's a 30-year loan. I have to pay like $150 a month. It's crazy. They want for you to be successful. You have to be dumb to default on that. It's just, what am I going to do? Spend the money on? So I got 2 employees. We're advertising. I'm spending more money on mailers. How much do you just send out a lot of mailers still, or you haven't been doing that as much?
No, not as much lately. It's kind of
it comes and goes. You've been doing this long enough. Sometimes you do it, sometimes you don't. You just
it just depends on time of the year or what we're trying to do.
Sure. We bought a bunch of like 3,000 mailers, and we got some lists of people whose homes are supposed to be renewing in the next month or 2, and so we targeted, mail it to them. And for a while there, man, we weren't getting much response. I thought it was just a waste, because every time I mail them out, it's like $100. I send out a little over 200. It's almost $100, because I send them these really nice big. I was going to show you. I was going to put it on camera, but But just recently we sold. We got a phone call from the mailer, and then I done another couple. So it's starting to work.
Yeah.
With these mailers, you have to really stay at it, or else you don't know if it's working or not.
Yeah.
And we ask them when they call, like, hey, how do you what brings you to us today? What brings you calling us today? And we got a flyer in the mail. So it works.
Yeah.
It works.
Whatever gets us policies and people calling.
But that's what we're using the money. The SBA, I could be sitting on this money, not spending it, but then, I'm having to pay the interest. You got to spend it to grow.
Yeah.
Right? And we're going to leave. So, Ruben, having been in business 13 years, successful farmer's agency, you can see his pretty face on a huge billboard in town. Is that the secret? Is that the secret to your success? Is having a billboard of your mug in town?
No.
Is that all I need to do?
Yeah, try it out. See what happens. I mean, I do that mainly because my dad has the same name, Ruben also, and he's an attorney. But people still call my office 13 years after I start. That they're calling my office looking for a lawyer.
Yeah.
I'm like, really, people? I mean, it's been 13 years. That's why I do this, so they know I'm not an attorney. Yeah, but it's okay.
It's a good problem to have. People, or at least their phone is ringing.
Yeah.
But any advice to the to the entrepreneur out there, somebody trying to get into business? Be like, don't get into insurance. Right?
There's too many insurance agents.
There's too many insurance agents. Don't get into insurance. Do something else.
Yeah. No, I mean, I would just say, find your niche and see what works for you early on and stick with it. And, if it stops working, then, change your system up. Be sure to have a good team working with you. I think that has a huge benefit to growing a business. People, your staff have a big influence on, how your agencies run as well.
Sure.
If they work together as a team, it makes everything so much easier. Makes the people happy to go to work, happy to make sales. And I bet you that's one of the biggest jobs as a business owner and manager is managing people, trying to get the best out of these people, setting them up for success. And when you're in business for 13 years, obviously that's what you've been doing. So I want to thank you for joining us on Jamin's Daily. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Ruben Bonilla, farmer's agent, longtime friend, Ray Texan, UT Longhorn, all kinds of new dad. What is your daughter's name?
Carolina.
Carolina.
She's 4 months old now, and I have a 6-year-old boy named Clinton.
That's nice.
Boy and a girl.
Well, we wish you all the luck. Ruben, thanks for joining us again. Remember, folks, this podcast is brought to you by Sage Choice Insurance Agency, independent insurance agency here in town. But we sell all over the state of Texas. 361-400-2411. Thanks again for joining us with Jamin's Daily. Me, your host, Jamin. Remember, stick with us because the best is yet to come.